next week. I'm very excited to have our own Sean Sexton with us today. Welcome to those of you who are watching on live stream. Sean always gives me wonderful material and a challenge, which I accept gracefully every time that he reads. Please welcome Sean Sexton.
Oh my goodness, our crowd has just grown and grown. It's so wonderful. Thank you all for being here. I have things I want to read to all of you, each of you, some of you. So for you, this is right at that moment. This is actually a little bit of a reprise. So I hope you'll forgive me if you've heard it before. But it's the time of year that we take the bulls out. And so I worked on the poem a little bit to make it even better, you know. Sometimes I discover I made them worse. And Rufus was there, he's a filmmaker in our midst. But it's called Fool's Day. Was it they'd mostly finished their work the way the bulls came along this morning, let themselves be driven back to their pasture, still ruined with holes dug from last year's 9-month frustration. It may finish for some the way it began, chasing an old dam and heat through one gate and out another, but not today, in this last feral wind of the season. Now we see them making their places out there as we add the heifer bulls, wastrels from hard winter pursuit, out of scale with their mentors. There will be posturing, momentary jousts, but they seem to know it's over, with the heat of day soon to replace this half-feigned détente and settle into a morbid peace cast upon everything present. Like that. There are two kinds of people in the world. There are people who love birds, and there are people that just don't know about them yet. This is called winter. As if color had been banished from elsewhere, these birds appear, replacing leaves of trees, disquieting silence. A painted bunting at the feeder with his chartreuse wife, others in scarlet, indigo, and tinier birds, Christmas bulbs sized. In pale yellow and blue, they cross half a continent to be here. In audacity, askance of the season's austerity, yet another kind of proof. Cedar waxwings, a sudden 40 quivering in a treetop, give the chilly wind a figure before disappearing in a breath, gone as if they were never here, like all souls lost unto this day. This is for my dear friends, Craig and Jan, who are here. Mostly Jan. Out of pure adoration. It's called Communion. These are old poems. No, the poems are not old. I'm old. The poems are timeless. So this takes place in this room. Flashes dance the ceiling over silver trays, passing through the pews, filled with white cubes cut from sliced bread by the deacons. My face is askew on the rim of this momentary mirror as I take a piece and hand it on. Bread squishes between my fingers in and out of square into an oblong ball as we wait. As we wait, light glimmers on the lake. A cola-colored universe beneath the dock is home to several tiny planets on hooks, dough ball water world real estate of the adolescent fishing pole gods under siege of minnows, hundreds. This is the body of Christ broken for you. Take and eat. Hands wrestle, rising. Taste penetrates, then saliva and prayer. Home at noon, children spill from the car, chasing about the yard in Sunday clothes. Sharon opens the coupe, pouring Jesus' leftovers from a plastic bag into a clutch of hens that peck and scratch and strew soft remains of the Lord into this world of sacramental hunger. So I went through sort of a hard time recently. I was having trouble writing poetry. I was not plugged in. I was, the muse was avoiding me, or I was avoiding it. And so one day I sat down and I just thought, I'm gonna write, and I'm not gonna try to have any ideas. I'm just gonna write about. I just went out on my porch and I just. It was 3:30 a.m., but it was anyway. I just started writing about what was happening, and I fell into this whole thing. And so it's the first time I've ever presented a kind of serial poem. So we'll do it in installments called Seven Rises. And this is the very first one. And it takes place, we're into spring now, and we're into Lent, which is the lengthening of the day. But this is back in February. This is sort of old news. But nonetheless, it gets us to where we are now. So, February 2nd, 2022, Wednesday. Morning resembles modern art, an unbroken line of light cast between twin deep blue plains, hanging upon a bright yellow canvas of sky, stretching toward heaven. Now earthbound things brighten, change perceptibly. Contours of cloud mimic the jagged umber horizon of trees in upwellings whose sources remain a mystery. They say the sawtoothed appearance of that line in the ocean at the edge of the world on windblown days implies a difficult sea, and what is there you must believe. The orb arrives, and all art crashes to the ground. Number 2, February 3rd. 3 handfuls of pink powder cast upon a pale sapphire sky. We let the heifers come west late yesterday afternoon, heard them crying, and discovered a broken water line, the empty trough. Now they scatter like black pepper on the land, grazing in low light as natterings of calves go unanswered by their mammies. I wipe my brow, the listless air a damp hand on my face. Early this week came a polar express bearing down on us, ringing the chimes outside our doors, stealing our grass. We're in a hard way, fields burned, hay on order, if any to be found. None till Thursday, Thea texts. None till Tuesday, Thea texts. This is Thursday. The road is quiet across the way, no traffic. I don't care to hear another sound the rest of the day. February 4th, early light fills the heavens like a thin-skinned, old-fashioned lampshade. Mist has slender facade as fuzzy white underlines beneath sentences of trees written on the distance. And if I should speak of everything, there is little sound, animal or machine, this morning, such that one wonders what is there about Friday would make it so. Quiet is welcome in this season of hunger after the week's first days of bedlam and loss. The orb appears at last, smearing light all over the sky like butter on bread, suddenly enlivening local fauna. 2 squirrels in an altercation just chased one another across the entire yard on limbs and fronds of 6 different species of trees. I think we ought to cut our losses and just stop right here. Number 4, February 5th. And this is Saturday. You always want to, everything matters, what happens Saturday night and Sunday morning. A lone calf's voice is crying where it's not supposed to be, then goes quiet. Orange cracks of dawn begin opening the sky, yet it's still too dark to investigate vagaries of sound. 2 dim bodies of cloud hang in the east, one a gigantic breaking wave lifting out of the sea of grass and trees, the other seemingly drawn from the sky where it remains. There is no movement, only lightening and a startling of haze from the earth's resume of silence. This spoken, there's suggestion of much more to come. Later, a softening into familiarity of the world, rendering visible. Now I can see the calf, his voice mollified by risen light and all matters coming to fruition. By what magic does mist suddenly rise and claim the whole land, dissolving like a misremembered prayer? Number 5, February 6th, Sunday. The fifth rise will be different. We've come to a new place in the dark, breath of the world in movement, chimes hanging just outside the door, and the trees now answering. Coolness arrives, invades my writing space, surrounds where I sit in jacket and pajamas. Soft whisperings in the trees accompany lovely low singing, seeming at times to sound on its own, then dies into the air. Did I neglect to say things to my father when he was alive? A poem I read last night made me wonder. Like the poet, I trusted the silence kept between us. Same as drove my mother away, I shouldn't have blamed her for leaving. Now there's a train, a low rumble, farther than it seems, 2 hours before daylight. The horn, like something crying town to town, carrying its sadness. Emptiness and silence between men, are they like mornings of stillness in the air? No whisper or chime, world changed enough already. Monday, February 7th. Fog, as if we don't live anywhere. East and west, the same, and the obverse. Did the world rise into clouds as we slept and decide to stay? Yesterday the sun never came up, but hid behind a shroud pulled over the face of the sky. Today the world beyond has disappeared, and perhaps all my concerns with it. The chime sways almost soundlessly, touching a single, almost inaudible note. There is dripping, as if morning's advent could reverse. Everything need only descend, like this thick sky over a land dressed in its bedclothes. Perhaps we'll soon have our day, a new season, and whatever next comes to hand. Rise, you might ask. I shall wait instead for everything to fall. Number 7, February 8th, Tuesday. The world's breath this morning lifts and scatters leaves of paper on the table and floor. Deciduous human matter fallen, clatter of town, road, and equipment is in the air. To the west, cattle crying, mine traffic, and the pump across the yard switching on and off, exhaling drafts of water to troughs in the fields when pressure drops. I'm the stenographer of sound this gray morning, kept at my desk by slow risen light. The east herd gathers into a dark mass in the distance, as if caught and held against strands 2 fence lines away. And a sky slowly lifts, but there is no rift, no entry place for the orb, only a solemn scrim stretching over and covering the brown, drab emptiness. Every day is a new puzzle to solve, open or shut gates on far fields of the ranch that took the hardest wind and cold. Cattle move to the next pasture when we let them in, walking without stopping, no heads down. So one wonders, where are they going? All day the orb remains hidden. When they were determining the months, they took days away from this one out of sheer dread. And in closing, we could almost have a little class reunion out there. We've got so many people who've come to town from, let's say, 2 years of classes at the high school in the audience. And what a delight to have you here. Some from places far away, too. And so, you're gonna have a hard time with this because, it's so, you weren't even the people you're from weren't even, you little baby. Pictures of the early gods of our adolescence. Poor Andrew, I'm so sorry. Now we barely know ourselves from images circulated online of past parties and revelries to recall this boy, that girl, sometimes bystanders, a key to puzzle names, recount the notorious with their great sobriquets, Crab, Whoop, Studley, and Worm. Defamation turned a claim in time for those we discipled to, canonized and adored. Many no longer among us, Jeff Snyder, Kenny Price, early gone, Donnie in rehab, Albert Valdez lost last month, Whitehead, Randy, not Steve, long ago graved, wraiths desolate as beauty, remaindered in these snaps, this quaint technology, as from a great struggle, a final offing glimpse, seen through a mirror dimly, but then face to face. thank you so much for coming. This is the most robust audience we've had at any of these. And it's his fault. We'll see you, how about next December? Next December, yeah. Happy Holy Week and Easter to all of you.